Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boisterous, coming to you with some Masters League Magnificence out of the map Core Hall Compound, LE. Spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Max as the red Terran, and up here in the right-hand corner, we have his opponent Eulogy, the blue Terran. Both of them are dropping their nice good luck have funds, and I would just like to apologize for not having a video out yesterday. However, I was making really disgusting coughing noises, which you may get a slight hint of in this video. Also voice cracking. Very usual for me at this time of the year. So, yeah, be ready for that. My voice might not be as audible chocolatey as it usually is. But that's because pollen likes to kill me. You know? Pollen. It's just so BM. We have our red Terran getting a slightly earlier supply depot, which means basically nothing. Nothing's really going to happen out of that. His supply depot is just going to be earlier by like 6 seconds. I think literally nothing happened there. He is slightly ahead on his SCV count. He's like 6 seconds ahead on his SCV count too. So that's a bit of an advantage for him, but nothing to write home about. But, you know, those little tiny 6-second advantages do add up over the course of a game, such as the fact that he is now getting his barracks slightly earlier. By about 6 seconds, believe it or not. I know, it's amazing. And is this first? Ooh, the first SCV does not manage to go down. However, this worker SCV is just about as close as the first SCV for our blue player is. So the blue SCV is going to have to run off and go home. Because, you know, it was an SCV and it was trying to be a drone. And that never works. Drones are predators. SCVs, they're recruits. Come on, SCVs. Get back to work. We have Max going for reasonably early gas, so he's going to be getting quite the fast factory here. Definitely much actually, yeah, pretty fast. Pretty much faster than his opponent. And we have both players going for well-timed orbital. Eulogy is making up a bit of time on that, I'm guessing, because he's had a higher mineral income because he went for a later refinery. However, Red is going to be able to drop his factory not as soon as he hits 100 because he isn't going to have enough minerals. We have the tech lab coming out from our blue player, so we might see a fast stim upgrade or even a fast marauder rush. Ooh, marauders. And we do have factories coming out from Red, so pretty fast factory. Yeah, Max. It's interesting. And we have Blue actually pocketing a lot of money and going for Reapers. Reapers! Oh my god. And yeah, that was one of the voice cracks that you will hear today, people. Enjoy them while they last. And we have the command center going down from Eulogy, so he was storing up that money for something. Going for quite the fast expand in TVT, and then command center down like the 4 minutes and 15-second mark. And we have the second refinery coming out from Max, so we might see some fast siege tank play, or even some fast medevac play. You never know, or even some fast siege tank medevac play. Yeah, we have Hellions coming out from this factory, which leads me to believe that it's actually going to be fast medevacs instead of fast siege tanks. Because if you really wanted to get fast siege tanks, he probably would have dropped that tech lab as soon as that factory finished, just to get siege mode ASAP. And both players are managing to spend their mules very well. Neither of them have really missed one yet. And we have another couple barracks coming up from Eulogy, so going for a 3 barracks play, which may not work well against Mech, because Mech kind of destroys Bio. I mean, Bio has like the backstabbing capabilities and the dropping capabilities, but as far as a straight up fight goes, it's all Mech. Mech is great in the fight. And it does look like it's going to be reasonably fast medevac plays, maybe even a Hellion drop, which would be pretty dangerous, especially considering the fact that Eulogy has basically nothing. Did that Reaper die? Was that Reaper? Nope, that Reaper died. So the Reaper did go down. Either that or he just canceled it. And I didn't actually watch that close enough. Whoops, and we have 5 barracks coming out from Eulogy. And it looks like this orbital is going to be content with going down to the natural instead of sitting in the base. Good job, orbital. Don't be lazy. And we have the Hellions grouping up in the middle, ooh, along with a 6 medevac drop. Ooh. Or a 6 marine medevac drop. And these Hellions would appear to be moving into position to get elevated in. Maybe. Yeah, we're going to see an elevator happen with these Hellions. Now, of course, this is going to do some damage. I would not say it's going to do like a game-ending amount of damage or a frightening amount of damage. However, we can watch as the bodies pile up. Workers killed is up to 5. He might get 6. Now he is going to stop at 5. Oh, 8. Ooh, these Hellions. Wow, that did a lot more damage than I expected it to. Holy crap, and even got away with a couple of units. That was pretty nice. However, these Marines should be able to stim and pick off that medevac. That or the medevac's just going to sit here. Now the medevac's going to die. I don't... Max, run with the medevac. Run away. Yeah, that medevac's just going to get shot down right there. Yeah, that was not the best positioning on that medevac. And we do have siege tanks coming up along with siege mode. It's almost done. Plus another factory. So we're going up to 3 factories at this point. I would expect the Blue Flame to be coming out right after the siege mode because he is getting reactor Hellions out, and because the other upgrade is useless at the tech lab. You might not have known that, but the 250 millimeter strike cannon does not get a lot of use in play. Just generally doesn't. And it looks like Max is moving into a command center after doing quite a bit of damage. He managed to, wow, pull ahead by 12 SCVs in the worker count. So he did a lot there, like a lot. Lots of damage. That was pretty nasty. And if we look at the income tab, he is not that far ahead, so I'm not going to look at the income tab. That's right. And these Marines are being kind of annoying to these Hellions. However, they're very low health and they don't have medevacs yet, so he probably shouldn't engage there. He is starting to get his medevacs, and I'm guessing he's going to switch this reactor off onto the starport as soon as his first medevac finishes to get double medevac production up, because he doesn't really need Hellions at this stage of the game. It's a bit late for them to be useful, so I would expect a switch at any second. There is the switch going down. We have Max lining up at the front of his base with siege tanks in nice circles. Nice, very concentric. There. This is the death zone. I'm going to call it from now on. And Blue Flame is coming up for Max from this tech lab. Not this tech lab, but this one. And we do see double tank and double Hellion, single Hellion. Just one Hellion coming out of the reactor. There we go. He didn't want to stress the reactor too early on in its lifetime. So we do have Max getting quite a few siege tanks. However, it would appear that this one is trapped before he lowers that supply depot. Come on, Max, didn't you play supply depot? That game had the best credits ever. How did you not beat it? Anyway, the Hellions are popping out and look like they're going to be going into kind of a imposing position. They might be going for the Zelnaga Tower on Eulogy's side, which would always be nice. You always want to try to keep control of those Zelnaga Towers. It's quite important. It's quite nice. And these Marines are lining up. They're lining up. Go after them, Hellions, or run away. Running away is also a good decision. I wish he had gone after the Marines. They were lining up. They were asking for it. Ooh, double medevac drop. Very sweet. This medevac is not over the base. This medevac should be dropping Marines to its death. However, yeah, there's siege tanks there. And this is also the death zone. I know I said that over here was the death zone. No, it's everywhere. The death zone is everywhere when siege tanks come into play, along with Blue Flame Hellions, because Blue Flame Hellions kind of roasty, toasty Marines really nicely. And, you know, getting killed by Blue Flame Hellions while you're getting healed by the medevac must be the worst death ever, because you're like, it's fire. God damn it, my friends. Just ignore that. Just ignore it. Don't even look at him. No. Should all send him hate messages. Every one of you, send that guy hate messages. Damn it, my friends. However, that's not his real name, so I'm actually just going to keep it in the video. Why the hell not? So we do have Eulogy going for plenty of barracks. And it looks like the Marines are moving in along with the Marauders. However, again, Marines and Marauders are not going to do very well against Turtles, because this is kind of a lot of siege tanks. I'm not saying, you know, a massive amount of siege tanks, but it's a pretty massive mess, siege tanks. I would not engage into this without Brood Lords. I'm just gonna say that. And we do have Eulogy moving out and actually cleaning up quite a few Hellions there, taking a lot for free, with very minimal losses because, of course, the Marines that did die died awful deaths. So the Hellions didn't want to kill all of them because those deaths kind of suck. And it looks like Max is moving up with his siege tanks, and oh god, they're gonna move right into range. Are they gonna stim? They should probably stim and get the hell out of there. Nope, they're just gonna walk out nonchalantly. Don't worry about it. I'm amazed he only lost like four Marines there. He should have lost way more. However, apparently 2 siege tanks is not quite as area of deathy as people would have you believe. And we do have Eulogy still with pretty big bio army. However, this mech army is freaking massive. He's up to 3 Thors already at the 15-minute mark, along with like 7 siege tanks. And siege tanks are scary as hell. Siege tanks will just one-shot your entire army. There's so much splash there. 8 siege tanks, along with double-producing Hellions, and 4 factories production. 4? Yeah, 4. I'm gonna go with 4. However, he's kind of cut siege tank production, which is a bit of a surprise, because after 3 Thors, you're kind of good on Thors. They're great in a matchup like ZVT, where Banelings can just kill themselves on Thors, and Thors don't even care, or, you know, Mutalisks can really screw up your tank's day. However, that's not really an issue in TVT, because people never go Banshees. I don't know why. Because if I see this composition, I'm going air. I mean, there's 3 anti-air units. I'm surprised people just don't go Banshees. Because Banshees would kind of kill everything here. If you just made, like, 4 Starport Banshees off of 3 bases, you would just demolish. It would be disgusting. Instead of this happening, where your entire army is getting torn to shreds. Like, ugh. I mean, I guess I can kind of understand why people don't go Banshees, because they don't really have a lot of effect after you win this fight and the enemy goes for Vikings. However, still, I mean, this is a push that will kill you. Just, it's 7 siege tanks at this point, with 3 more coming out per production cycle. These are some scary people. And yeah, looks like we have the medevac coming in. Trying to do a bit of scouting action. Eulogy has kind of a curve here. However, it doesn't matter, because these guys will absolutely destroy him, as we clearly see demonstrated there, where all of his units died. And with SCVs here, this push is disturbingly frightening. Like, disturbingly frightening. I'm not sure how Eulogy can deal with this. I mean, this is a really well executed push at this time. I think the only thing Eulogy could really do is go for a backstab attack and try to force Max back. However, Max has a couple of siege tanks at home that would get torn through. However, Eulogy would still be in the lead supremely. And the thing that Max is doing right here is he just has a crap ton of siege tanks, and he's just not caring whether or not they die, because there's always going to be 5 more siege tanks in the line behind the one that you break. So as soon as Eulogy spends his army just throwing them at this wall of siege tanks, the siege tanks are going to be back. It's not going to matter. And it looks like this Marauder is trying to hold the Zelnaga Tower. However, he's not in a good position. Yeah, so getting a nice kill there. I think that was mainly because Max unsieged all of his tanks, which is something you should never do. He should be like unsieging this tank and moving it to the front of the line, and then unsieging these 2 tanks and moving it to the front of the line. However, he's going to lose 3 more tanks here, or at least 1 more, before he pulls the other 2 back. And yeah, this is a frightening push. I don't think I can say that enough. I mean, 6 Thors, this is the point where air becomes useless, plus the huge amount of siege tanks is just hilariously frightening. I'm not quite sure what Eulogy could do at this point. He kind of heavily committed to bio and then didn't harass enough. Like, he didn't do enough economic damage to Max to slow him down enough. In fact, Max did the only economic damage all game long. Eulogy has killed 3 workers, and those workers have most likely been from this push, from just SCVs getting murdered in this push. And it looks like a Thor is going to go down from Max's side, but at this point, those losses are acceptable. If we look at units killed, where's units lost? There we go. The resources are firmly in Max's favor, especially considering the fact that he has had a higher income almost all game long. He's 1 SCV ahead at this point, actually make that 3 SCVs ahead at this point. And his income is much higher, at least on the gas side. He doesn't have a lot more minerals coming in. However, yeah, you don't want to be 2,000 minerals or 2,000 resources ahead of your enemy's losses. That just, it doesn't help. And that was me coughing, for any of you that enjoyed it. And it would appear that Eulogy is trying to make something work here. It's just, it's not happening. There's too many SCVs, there's too much stuff going on. There's too many siege tanks at this point, and he's completely contained. Ugh, this is so bad. I mean, the only thing he could have done earlier, I guess, is gone for like a giant drop onto his opponent's tank line and prayed to God that enough of his medevacs survived to get all of their units out. Because then your army is spread out, so it doesn't take a lot of damage from the siege tanks. Hopefully it is on top of your enemy's siege tanks, so their siege tanks are actually damaging each other while they damage your units, and then you just need to cross your fingers and pray to God that you have enough DPS to take out their tanks before they take out all of your units. However, this planetary fortress is now being sieged, so this is not a situation you want to be in, because now he's just bleeding resources over here, trying to repair this planetary fortress. Yeah, and here comes the Thor and just add another bit of DPS to outdo it. And if we look at Eulogy's upgrades, his upgrades are actually okay. The only issue is that he waited too long to make an engagement against Max. And when he did make an engagement against Max, Max had 14 siege tanks. And you don't win against 14 siege tanks with Bio. I guess some people might win against 14 siege tanks with Bio, but Eulogy does not. Especially just looking at the supply, it's ridiculous. And Eulogy with the god I have to deal with freaking 1 base all-in. It's a freaking turtle. And the medevac drop was not an all-in. I'm sorry, Eulogy. It was not an all-in. There was a command center building in the back. It was not an all-in. So anyway, guys, this has been yet another game brought to you by Boisterous. If you want any other games that I've commentated, head on over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. Also, if you want any of your games commentated, you can send them on in to boisteroussc2@gmail.com. There will also be a link to a Battle.net forum thread, which you can post in and bump to the front and alert me that you've sent in your replays, because I love that. Mainly because it puts my thread up on the front page. So keep doing that. Seriously. I mean, don't just say bump, because you might get banned for that, but, you know, just throw in some random message. Why not? And that's all I have to tell you. You should also go sign up over at sc2clans.org for the STL, of which me and Kadoink will be commentating the championship portion, which, surprisingly, not the highest league. It's actually the Platinum and Diamond League, so yeah, you guys should definitely head on over to there. Check it out. Sign up if you have friends or clanmates or clanmate friends. Yeah, and this is Boisterous, signing out.